My name is Mrs. Falansha Lakija. I'm the Executive Vice Chairman of Farm for Oil Limited. We're an indigenous oil exploration and production company in Nigeria, and it's a family business.
Awesome stuff. Now, today we're here at the South African Nigeria Business Forum, and you gave a speech. Tell us a little bit about what you were saying, and why do you think such forums are important in this day and age in business?
If forums like what we had upstairs don't take place, we'll find that we'll all be operating on our own, in our own shells, and not integrating with other countries. But there are opportunities and a lot to be gained by interacting with one another, doing business with one another, exchanging ideas with one another, exchanging our culture, our arts, and our fashions, and getting to know one another better for a better future in the African continent.
This obviously, one would assume, would be a good move for the two superpowers, being Nigeria and South Africa. Do you think it will have an impact on the rest of the continent if these two countries really partner up in terms of business and the economy and growing?
I believe so. There's the rule of follow your leader, and the rest will catch up. So they'll be looking up to us as the two giants of Africa, and it'll be the better for our continent, because they will improve in every area, in the economy, in politics, in the business, everything.
It would be a crime for us not to ask you about being the richest African woman, according to Forbes. But specifically looking at the side of being an African and being a woman, coming from a continent where back in the days women were not so liberated in terms of business and having economic say. What would your words of encouragement be to all women who are in business currently?
I would say that women should never give up. We should always come together to encourage one another. There is a green light at the end of the tunnel. We've come from very far. Yes, we used to be in the kitchen. People believed that that was where we belonged. Not that we want to shirk our responsibilities in that area, or not look after our children, or look after our husbands. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we've got brains, just as our male counterparts have brains, and God created us equally, only just with different anatomies. Yeah. But nevertheless, we should be ready and available to assist the male gender, yeah, in achieving their aims and aspirations, because God put them in that position as heads of families. Yes. You understand me? But He made us equal partners, but just that women are to submit to their husbands. Now, I believe that women can do businesses. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. In fact, I think that we're the best business people, because you take a man to the market, and let a woman take a man to the market, and she'll be able to buy a larger quantity, the best quality, at the lowest price. Yes, we're just naturally gifted. So I believe that we already have the qualities. So those qualities, we should bring them to bear in our various businesses, regardless of the kind of business we do, or whatever size or level we're at. Yes, absolutely. We can apply all those qualities that God has already imbibed in us and given to us freely without charge. And we'll take the men to the cleaners.
Before we let you go, there's a misconception that most people have, especially with your recent title, that maybe you woke up one morning and this was your life. You were a fashion designer. Let's speak a little bit about that, where you started off. And is this journey an easy one, or are there real hard realities when going into business and trying to be a huge economic player in whatever country you may find yourself in the continent?
There's no business that's never challenging. Nothing is ever handed to anyone on a platter of gold. You always have to, I always say, start small, no matter what it is that you're doing. Start on a small scale, learn from it, build it, take it from one level to the other. And as you continue to acquire knowledge and skills, you'll get better and better at it. And because of that, you'll be able to grow your business and be able to stretch out your hand to maybe even partnerships with others, so that you can expand and build your business because you have partnered with others. And partnerships, what do you look at in a partnership? You look at what you don't have, and you would partner with what someone else has. And that way you make a team, a good team, a positive team, a team that would succeed.
Where did you start?
I started from being a secretary. Oh, I love that question. I started from being a secretary. I was the executive secretary to several managing directors in a bank. I got tired of doing that, and I spoke up. I knew I had abilities to do more challenging things, and I wanted to do that. In fact, all my life I had wanted to be in business. I knew that at some point I would end up in business. So I decided to speak to my management to let them know how I was feeling. And I spoke to other secretaries in the bank, and they too wanted a change. So I was promoted to head the corporate affairs department in my bank, which is a merchant bank at the time. And then I went from there into an in-house banking course. After the in-house banking course, I went into full-time banking.
It's no problem, because we can edit in the van, so it's not a problem at all.
Not a problem.
Please relax and take a sip.
My lips are getting dry. So I went into full-time banking. Even then, I found that I wasn't completely satisfied. I never went to university. And while I was in International Merchant Bank, and that level as a treasury officer, the bank was hiring people into different sectors of the bank, and the treasury department was one of them. And I found that those who had university degrees were being put above me. I didn't like that. So I decided that it was time to leave. At the time, I believe I was around 40 years old, or thereabouts. No, I was in my 30s. So I left the bank. The bank released me reluctantly after rejecting my letter of resignation for 3 days running. Anyway, the rest is history. I went to England, studied fashion design, came back, set up my own fashion house. 3 weeks after I launched my label, I won a competition as the designer of the year for 1986-87.
Wow.
Yes, and that brought me into the limelight and into fame and fortune. Fortune, I think twice about that, because we weren't being paid a lot for clothes in those days. I left the fashion industry 12 years ago. I would say, yes, it would make 12 years on my 62nd birthday. That'll be July this year. That'll be 12 years since I left the fashion industry. But I'm still very much a part of them, because fashion is my passion. Yeah. It's something I love very dearly. I still design for myself. I get a lot of friends and former colleagues to design for me. One of them made this one as well. But I still support the industry as much as I can. I am the life trustee for the Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria. I was their president for almost 6 years while I was still in the industry.
Wow, absolutely amazing. You look absolutely amazing today. And thank you very much for sharing your story with us. A word of advice to everyone who's watching in terms of business, in terms of pursuing their dreams and making it happen.
Whatever the Lord has laid in your hearts to do, always make sure that you follow it through. Make sure that it is what He has actually given you grace to do. We always have to pray about things before we take a step of faith. You can see someone who's into something and is doing very well. It may not necessarily be for you. I always say that you take your matter to the Lord in prayer first. Ask Him what He desires for you, for your life. And then once you know what it is, by all means pursue it with all vigor and ensure that you put in your best. And we should never leave God out of our businesses. business is God's business.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.